Good evening, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans and Speed Gaming fans. Tonight we have a match for you. On the left side of your screen, it is Falconic FF, and on the right side of your screen, it is Tarnin. These are two great friends who have agreed to do an absolutely crazy party. Rumblefish, we have a thief and we have a fighter. Where are our other party members?
There are two nuns, basically, and nun is a class that, recently in addition to the randomizer, it enables you to have no person in that party slot, and you can. That might sound crazy to people who think that more party members are better, but you can do that if you want to enhance experience gain for your party members. Fewer members means more experience for them, and also you can just do it if you want a challenge, like we're seeing here.
Absolutely. These two are great friends. They have agreed to a gentleman's agreement. This is the crazy party that we're running with. These guys don't care about winning. They're here to have fun, and we're going to put on a good show for you guys. So our runners have seen the green light. The countdown is going, so we should be getting a stream update very shortly. These guys are both 2-1 right now, so one of these guys is going to move to 3-1 and be guaranteed a spot in the play-in race, and one of them is going to be still fighting for their spot for the play-in race.
That silver sword there is going to be really useful early on. The strongest weapon you can get for the fighter in the shop, and it's at a pretty good price too, at a 1100k. So, and also we have silver bracelets and gold bracelets. I mean, those gold bracelets are really good armor, the best armor you can find in the shop, and silver bracelets are usually pretty good too, more affordable. So, good payoff as far as equipment goes, weapon and armor goes in the first town here.
Yep, this is going to be some nice shops for our parties to start out with. We're not going to have access to magic until after we class change, so whatever we find in the shops is basically going to be it as far as gear, except for what we find in chests. So, very exciting race. We've had a lot of really good races in the spring tournament so far, and I'm sure this one will deliver too.
Right. It's magic.
Is going to check the king item.
Yeah, Falconic is apparently going to get things going here.
Doing a little bit of stream sync, so our runners' timers are at the same mark.
And a ship from the king.
All right, that's some really nice options opened up. That's going to allow us to check a couple extra towns early, so that's pretty nice. But first, we're going to have to get some level.
There's a lot of stuff we're going to need to get, and one thing that I'm wondering is if we're going to be how generous the seed is going to be with casting items, because if, for example, if we get like a Bane sword or a Zeus gauntlet or a mage staff, that's going to be extremely useful for this race early on, because there's going to be absolutely no way to get magic otherwise. So if that happens to the runners, it'll be a great boon for them, and the ship opens up a lot more possibilities for these runners to find it.
I want to thank everybody for joining us today. This is going to be an excellent match. I see Jeffy78 in chat wishing Wilcliosis good luck on his race tomorrow. Just a reminder, tomorrow is the last of our undefeated races as Wilcliosis the Dragon Slayer 3-0 takes on One Fine Day, the Lone Wolf. One of them will advance to 4-0 and one will be 3-1. That's tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern on Speed Gaming. Tarnin is our first in the Temple of Fiends, finds a silver gauntlet, so that's nice.
Good early armor. That'll help. If he decides to take on Garland, I think he will. And a silver helmet too, so.
Nice. That's going to help a lot in this Garland fight.
Right, and I think we're going to see is Tarnin trying to knuckle it out with. I don't think he got any weapon whatsoever for his fighter, and that actually could work because the fighter he did get a weapon for it, yeah. But the fighter is going to be the star of this fight as he tries to whittle down Garland. Normally, it's an easy fight in Randomizer, but it's going to be actually harder in this seed because there's only two party members. Harder than vanilla.
Yeah, the fighter does have some decent armor though, and it looks like Garland's just punching. So as long as he gets some good damage rolls, I think Tarnin will be able to get through this. Demon Frog pointing out that Fire 3 and Warp are level 1, so Black magic would definitely have been nice, but we don't have magic. Magic, what's that?
Tarnin in some trouble here. Fighters just got 3 more hit points. Even with 78 critical hit, still not going down. So I don't know. There we go. Pulls it off.
All right, so a last-ditch effort from that fighter before he falls, and we are through. Tarnin's going to pick up his ship, and the princess is going to give us the floater! Early airship for Tarnin.
Yeah, that definitely gives a early advantage to Tarnin. Looks like Falconic, though, is seeking to catch up. He just doped out of a Dwarf Castle. So Tarnin has an advantage, but Falconic is not too far behind.
Yep, Falconic did get a little bit of early exploration under his belt, but Tarnin, going straight for those key items, has netted himself the ability to get an airship early. And he's got 10 cabins, so he's going to make a mad break for that Ryokan Desert and get his airship.
Alright, so Shadow Walker, okay, the next stop is obviously getting the floater and the airship. Once that happens, where's your next stop?
So, I think with this party, the thing I would be looking for first is the tail. Especially having the airship right off the bat. The sooner we can get class change, the better. That's going to give us access to black magic and life magic at low levels. And as we've already seen, level 1 Fire 3 and level 1 Warp are going to be really nice pickups for that ninja once we get to level 15 to be able to cast those. Outside of that, I think we're going to have to open a lot of early boxes. Whatever free chests we have access to, like Party Isles, for instance. A lot of chests looking for equipment to try and really be able to do some damage and soak up some hits. So I think finding Provoca, finding Crescent Lake, and finding those early items are going to be really big. And speaking of, Tarnin finds Provoca at Crescent Lake.
And the Pirates fight will not be as simple as it is in normal Randomizer. Usually a mage will cast use an AoE spell and take out all the pirates. Now we're going to have to roll them down one at a time because we have no magic.
Yep, so it's going to take us a little bit longer to kill them, but I think with the couple of levels that we've gained, this shouldn't be too big a deal. The fighter's got some good equipment, so those pirates aren't going to hit him for very much damage.
And they're pretty weak normally anyway, so this should be I think easy, just might take a little time.
Yeah, they should have between about 3 and 12 hit points. So looks like 5 damage wasn't quite enough to take out one of them. Thief misses on the second attack, so we still don't know their HP just yet.
Falconic on the left, picking up his airship.
Yeah, so Tarnin first at the airship at 5:30, and Falconic just behind him at about 6:40. So definitely some really fast times to get in the air.
Raiders high five right in front of Bicky. The seed is already starting to remind me of an earlier seed that we had just earlier this week, race between Falconic and Spellzap, in which they were basically neck and neck the entire time. It was really a fun seed to watch. You should try to check it out on the Speed Gaming VODs if you haven't seen it yet. It's a really exciting match to see.
A couple of questions in chat. Do we not have audio from the runners? Both of these runners are streaming with some music. They wanted to go with more of a laid-back situation, and so we have some just default tunes for you guys. Sorry that we don't have runner audio, but both of them are using unusable audio. And the loot is the item that Vicky has for us today. So a required item, but not something we wanted to see early. Tarnin picks up a rapier for his thief just to have some damage. Alright, we'll see where Tarnin goes next. He has not checked the early towns that Falconic checked.
Here we go, Sarda. Free key item. Once you get the airship.
Alright, so Invis 2 at level 2, that's going to be very nice for that fighter. Was that Ruse that was also at level 2?
Checking out Tarnin's screen, but Invis 2 is going to be great when and if we get the spell change. We may possibly find like the tail might actually be in some loose chest. We may never find it. I find that hard to believe that these runners would try to finish the game without getting a class change, even if it meant checking every chest in the game. But tail is not necessary.
Alright, so we did see a canoe from Sarda, so it's another really good item for our progression. Melma does Melman today, so a little bit of vanilla in there, and Provoca is Crescent Lake, so we'll get our first look at what the Sage item is. Meanwhile, Falconic doing a dive of the Cardia Isles. We'll see what we find here. A little bit of cash, heal potion, and a cabin. So there's no need to check these level 6 spell shops because we will never get to use those.
Mm-hmm. Fighter can only get to level 3 magic, then level 3 white magic, and the ninja can get to level 4 black magic. Meanwhile, if I can't... Tarnin gets a crown from the confused old men in Crescent Lake.
And Falconic opening up more of these Cardia Isles boxes. So far, nothing too great.
Unless you really dig giant swords, you found one of those, but it's not exactly a hit endgame weapon.
I mean, it's better than that saber that we've got so far, but certainly not something I want to take in a Topher.
Now, is that a power staff or a power bonk? Something kind of got
a power staff, unfortunately.
All right, that is the lesser of the powers, by far.
It's the misnomer of the power items.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Gaia is on rack today.
And a rod.
And the rod.
Right. That's going to be our vendor item. In each of these seeds, there's going to be one key item in a vendor shop someplace in the world, and this time it's going to be in Onrak, which is supposed to be Gaia, at the item shop there. And it's pretty good price too, not even 10k, so it's very affordable for our runners to seed.
Alright, so we will have to see what it is that our runners decide to do. This is a very atypical party, and it's looking like we're going to have to make some kind of dive with suboptimal gear. So I'm curious to see how our runners are going to handle that. Normally you might see a early marsh dive, or a play at waterfall, potentially even a play at castle ordeals, but I don't think we quite have the gear to deal with a lot of that. So we'll see what our runners think.
You gotta go someplace, though. I mean, it's gotta be... Every place you go is gonna be a challenge for this party. You just gotta pick one and go at some point.
I think if I were playing this party and having the airship already, I might try to make a play at Volcano. That second floor has a lot of chests that you can get to fairly easily. And that might give us some kind of castable item, or potentially a loose item that might help us accelerate a little bit.
I think Astos is in play right now. Both of our runners have the crown. Astos doesn't have that much hit points, but I mean, with the giant, would you take him out with one fighter with a giant sword, or are we still not there yet?
So the problem with fighting Astos isn't so much his HP, it's really that Astos has pretty decent absorb and evade for a low-level boss. It's going to be pretty hard to really get damage in on Astos, and if he rolls any kind of spell or skill, it really could hinder our runner's ability to take him out early.
Mm-hmm. Which may be why Falconic just somehow heard your advice and is going to the armory right now. So far, some cash, more cash.
Unrunnable R Hydra, so we're going to have to take this fight.
Good experience,
Looks like
pretty
they're
low
on-
hit points.
So this is going to be a high-intensive heal potion. That light axe is actually a really nice pickup. That might give them the firepower to get through Marsh Cave.
And also beneficial in Ice Cave and maybe even Waterfall. And the Vorpal! It's has its own fan club here in the Final Fantasy Randomizer community, in the Final Fantasy Randomizer community for its high critical hit rate.
That's definitely Falconic's preferred endgame weapon. Also of note, that Pro Cape has a lot of absorb for that Thief, and we saw our Rune Sword, which is the best weapon that the Thief can equip pre-class change, aside from Mazza. So that's really going to let that Thief do at least some damage in this game.
I see Falconic is noping out of some chest on the first floor there. I think it's kind of a wise move to do at this point. Let's see where he goes next.
Looks like Falconic is, I think, making a play for that steel armor. You saw the steel armor, he's going to sell that opal armor and buy that steel armor. Nope, he's going to buy pro rings. I stand corrected. Wants to get some resistance against instant death.
That move surprises me, actually. I mean, the opal armor is the second best armor you can get for the night once. Tarnin wipes and resets out of the volcano, but he's going back in. The move from Falconic surprised me because the opal armor is pretty valuable. I guess maybe he thinks that he just needs the money now and get the dragon armor, the best armor for the night.
Opal armor is good, but it's not really required. And in a pinch, you can get through with like flame armor, ice armor, and with the amount of chests they're going to be opening, it's pretty likely to find the dragon armor as well. So I don't mind getting rid of the opal armor.
And it's important to note that the nun party members are still mules. I mean, they can still hold items for the party as if they were actual party members. So don't think that our parties are restricted to having to keep have a number of weapons that are, for 2 characters. However, those items in the nun spots will be inaccessible during battle. So it's not all. It does have its drawbacks.
All right, Volcanic, after having found a little bit of gear, is going to give the Astos fight a try. Swings the Light Axe for a miss, and the Rune Sword for 1 damage. And this is the problem with trying to fight Astos early, especially with melee weapons.
Not doing a whole lot of damage. And also, he's got Stun Touch, it seems. That's not going to be good.
Yeah, Stun Touch, and he's hitting for a pretty solid amount of damage, so there we go. Got 2 hits in on that Light Axe, so if we can get another good swing or 2,
there we go.
Vertical hit. 119, level 7 now for Falconic, so he gets it out with his bottle.
I don't think we have seen the bottle leads to the fairy once you open it up, and I don't think we have seen Gaia. Now that it's been shuffled around. So isn't that right? We don't know where it is yet.
Yeah, Gaia is either going to be at Onrak or at the original Lefane entrance. And it looks like Falconic's going to go figure out where it is. Be curious to see if he tries to take out Waterfall while he's here.
Oh no, he found Elfland. Normally, Elfland is great because we have 2 classes of spells here, level 3 and level 4, but that is not very worthwhile for this party. So this is definitely
Life 2 at level 3 is Night Learnable and Temper at level 3, so we have some really good spells available post-promotion.
Yeah, so the seed was very kind, potentially, for these runners once we get to once we're able to learn magic here.
Alright, Tarnin, meanwhile, steps up at the bat to fight Astos, so he finds out his information about the bottle. And level 4 looks like the best spell was Hold, so We've got Fire 3, Warp, Ice 3, and Temper for black magic, and we've got Life 2 and Invis 2 for white magic. So we definitely have some good magic after promotion. We just got to find that tail to actually be able to use them.
Falconic is now going to the original Lefane, which we have, by a process of elimination, we do know is going to lead the town of Gaia, so we'll see where that item leads. Meanwhile, Tarnin is making a marsh dive. I think he kind of noped out of Astos. I don't think he did he.
Yeah, I don't think he actually was able to clear the fight just yet. So Falconic knows that there's a good run off the power cycle, takes advantage of that, and gets all the way down to Lefane with only one fight on the way. So this is good progress for him. He's going to give us the information what the bottle turns into. While Tarnin on her tear through Marsh Cave is down to the incentive chest 4.
Falconic gets the ribbon for his troubles.
Okay, so that ribbon's definitely very nice, but not our progression just yet.
Doesn't open anything up per se, although the protections the ribbon gives against special attacks is very useful. Up at the early game, up to the chaos fight.
Oh, absolutely. Being able to resist every element is definitely something that would be very nice for him. Tarnin, meanwhile, finds the crystal in March Cave. So that could still be the tail, that could still be the ruby, but this is likely to be a progression item. Falconic is also going to go dive marsh, so we will have a little bit of a high five going on here. So I'm really actually happy to see Falconic and Tarnin get paired up in this tournament. These guys are both great friends, both very laid back, and I know that they were really looking forward to being able to run a wild and crazy party together, so very excited to see how this plays out. I talked a little bit with Tarnin and Falconic. I think Tarnin's plan is going to be to hit level 35 with his 2 Light Warriors. Tarnin likes to be very prepared, so we'll see if that is the level that he will need to get to, or if that'll be enough, or maybe they'll have to go higher, depending upon what the Topher bosses have in store for us. But I don't know exactly what Falconic's end goal levels are. Tarnin has almost made it back to the opening floor of Marsh. Falconic has just about checked all the chests here on the 3rd floor. So I imagine Tarnin will take the time to check the top level chests, but he immediately proves me wrong, and he's going to go flying somewhere else.
He's off to Matoya to find turn in that crystal to see what she has for us.
Yeah, Fizzle asks what he missed over the past couple of minutes. We found the crystal in Marsh Cave, which is now turning in for the herb. We will see what the Elf Prince has in store for us. Meanwhile, Falconic is going to take the time to dig the top of Marsh. Herb turns in for the Adamant, so another fetch quest that gets us ever closer to that 12 key item mark, where we can get 150% EXP. Crabcakes, did Tarnin not get through Astos? He has not finished the Astos fight. He saw that it led to the bottle, but he has not gone back to try to fight Astos again. And we have yet another instance of lazy dwarves, the Adamant turning in for TNT.
It makes for you won't have to double dip Dwarf Cave, but this is like a never-ending fetch class. My God, the slab goes to Melmund, and then we're gonna find out what's in Lefane. So But I'm told that Tarnin now has that 12 key threshold, which means he'll get the experience boost, which is a big boost. I'm sure Falconic will be right behind him. Actually, Falconic might be one step because he did beat Astos and Tarnin didn't, so he might be at the 12 key right now.
Yeah, they're both pretty close to it if they don't already have it. Falconic should get it in this fetch quest chain. I think Tarnin does already have it. And Slow Clapman in chat asked, where are Falconic's party members? Both of these runners have agreed to do a 2-man party. We are running Fighter Thief on both sides. This was an agreed-to party, and they are going to go and put on a show without any low-level magic. So, won't be until we get the tail that we get the magic. And after that long fetch quest chain, we do eventually end up getting the Chime.
And that opens up the Mirage Tower, where there are many chests close together, and some tough enemies too, where they also tend to yield some pretty good experience points. But it looks like Tarnin's next stop instead is going to be the Castle Ordeals.
Yep, that sets him up to get another incentive item. So I'm wondering what he's hoping to find here. We know that it can't be the ribbon, and we've gotten almost all the fetch quests out of the way. Tarnin doesn't know what the bottle turns into, of course, but he has seen the bottle. So we know this is going to give an item straight away. So we've seen the crystal, we've seen the adamant, the TNT, the herb, the crown, the bottle. We've seen all of our fetch quest items, so all of these have to give us the actual item that they're going to yield straight away now.
Oh, the whammy pillar Tarnin hits. Castle of Ordeals makes you touch several pillars, the trash can looking things, in order to progress. And Tarnin hit the one that sent him all the way back to the beginning, so took a reset there.
So taking a whammy pillar is a bit annoying, but fortunately the nice thing about Castle Ordeals is any progress you make is kind of saved because you can just mentally map it out and just keep going. You don't lose that knowledge, so.
Honorable Mad Cats.
Falconic making the gamble, going into Mirage.
I like this play, it's gutsy, even though I mean, I could typically see some enemies that are gang up on him, but I'm just dying to see what's in these chests.
Wow, and he finds a Mazmune straight away.
There you go.
So definitely a huge play.
That is the strongest weapon in the game. Can be equipped by any character, and definitely a welcome find.
I personally probably would have tried to go through either Ordeals or Waterfall in this situation, but Falconic making a big play and gets paid off for it quite well, so big move for him.
Yeah, and that should give him a definite advantage over Tarnin, having that sword and that damage rolling on, provided he can make it out of this fight of vulnerable guards.
Yeah, that is one big danger here. And guards have Cremate too, and Dazzle. They are really giving him the business here.
Yeah, I got a bad feeling about this.
Axel just not doing much damage, and he does have to reset. But he now knows which chest has the Mazmune, so he's going to go back in. He's going to pick that up straight away.
Tarnin on the other side making good use of his light axe, taking care of those undead mummies. The light axe casts the harm spell, which inflicts damage on the undead.
Light Axe casting Harm 2 is a very nice option for these undead fights that we have. It's going to help him out quite a bit going through places like Mirage, or not Mirage. Well, I mean, yeah, Mirage has vampires. So that is a good place for it. But Marsh, Ice Cave, Earth, there's a lot of early game dungeons that have undead, so you want a mage staff to go with it, so that's going to be very nice.
Mm-hmm. Also very useful against the undead, but also hits enemies that are not undead.
And for Tarnin's troubles, he finds the cube. So that might push him to do Mirage Sky early. So we'll see if he goes and gets his Masmian.
Falconic on the other side, finally making out a Mirage Tower. We'll see where his next stop is right now.
Yeah, Falconic gets out with his Masmian spoils and says, you know, that's enough for me. I made my gamble. I got paid off big. I'm going to go elsewhere now.
Looks like he's going to follow Tarnin's footsteps and go to the Castle Ordeals. They're going to probably high-five here in just about, now.
Crabcake's pointing out that Falconic's been making some crazy gambles this tournament. Yep. Falconic likes to make plays. And he thinks of himself as somebody who is very knowledgeable about the game, but he knows against some opponents that he's definitely not the favorite in those matchups. And so his way of trying to get an edge is to make these big plays. And when it pays off, it's great. And he's had some great luck this tournament so far. And I definitely agree with Lord Fizzlebeef in chat, pointing out that doing Mirage 1 isn't so crazy here, since we're definitely looking for some character assaults going. So there's a lot of chests on Mirage 1. It's definitely a very sensible play when you're trying to find some gear quickly. Crabcakes, I very much agree. I definitely think that Falconic is a great player, and I think that there are a lot of people that don't give him enough credit for his ability to play the game. And I think there's a lot of people like that in the community. We all talk about people like Edgeworth and Crabcakes and Minochi and Tristal and all these really strong players that, yes, they're absolutely very, very good at this game. But there are plenty of people in this community that are right on their heels. Definitely, I would say Falconic, Tarnin, Wilcleosis, Fizzlebeef are among those people. There's a lot of this community that on any given day, they can take those guys down. Alright, so
Falconic gets his cube right about now. Let's see if he decides to take out the zombie dragons. The one zombie dragon on the way out. Yep, that's his play.
Well, he's got a Masmian, he's got a light axe. Definitely gonna give it a go at least. Tarnin, meanwhile, makes his way through Waterfall. He is to the trap tile now.
And Falconic doing like a little bit of a grind on those zombie dragons, in fact, not just taking out the first fight. And that is like a ruby from the robot. And some cash in the chests. A defense sword.
Defense sword.
Mm-hmm. That is a valuable find. A cast ruse, which boosts the caster's evasion by 80 points. 3 casts of 3 uses of the defense sword will give you max evasion.
So Tarnin doesn't find a required progression item, but I would say in this two-man party, finding that defense is almost a required item for the endgame tide.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple of people in chat that look like they're just catching up to the race, so we'll give them a recap. It's been about 30 minutes. So we started this off, and the king and princess gave us the ship and the floater, respectively. So we had very early access to the airship. Bicky and his pirate crew in Provoca gave us the loot, and that was at Crescent Lake. Sarda gave us the canoe. The Circle of Sages were found in the Provoca entrance, and they gave us the crown. Astos, for that crown, handed over the bottle, and the fairy and Gaia handed over the ribbon for releasing her. We found the vendor item in Onrak up at the normal Gaia entrance. Matoya, for the crystal, handed over the herb. We found that crystal in Marsh Cave. The prince, after reviving him, handed over the adamant. The blacksmith in the dwarf cave handed over the TNT, which we promptly turned in for the slab. Turning the slab over to Dr. Rune for the translation so we could talk to the Leftinish people. Gave us the chime. And then Castle Ordeals had the cube, and the robot had the ruby. Some notable item finds: we found the defense sword in Waterfall as well, and we found the Mazmune in Mirage 1.
We are running out of incentivized chests here. There is still the Ice Cave. And is that the last incentivized chest we have? And the rest of everything is loose items?
That's correct. We still have one incentive at Ice Cave, and then we have 2 loose items. And we know that among those 3, we're going to find the Oxyale, the Tail, and the Mystic Key. So technically the tail is not required, but I think with this party, both of our runners are definitely going to want to have that tail. So basically we're going to have to find both loose items, and we're going to have to dive ice at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Homer Cleese asking what's up with the music. The runners are both running with non-restream music, so we have to do some different audio. So apologies that we're not catching race audio, but both of our runners wanted to run with some more laid-back music. So
Tarnin makes it out of the waterfall.
Yep, so he's definitely got to be feeling pretty good about finding that defense sword, even if the ruby wasn't required. We'll see where he goes next. He might try to make a play for Mirage, since he does have a lot of chests there that he could check out. If he does, we know he'll find the Mazmune, which would definitely be good for him. He still does not have the knowledge of what that bottle turns into from Astos, so he might go and try and fight Astos again.
A lot of options. Also Ice Cave, where he doesn't also know there's an incentivized chest.
He might try for Ice Cave, but I would not blame either of our runners for not wanting to go do Ice Cave right now. We've got a Mage Staff and we've got a Light Axe, so we can take out some of the Undead packs, but there are a lot of enemies in Ice Cave, and if something rolled a nasty spell or skill, that definitely could set our runners back a bit. Question about Tarnin's emulator. Both of our runners are playing on the BizHawk emulator, so they are using the same emulator.
Tarnin getting some gold bracelets in Corneria. Very strong armor.
Yep, so Tarnin gearing up. Looks like he might be making that Ice Cave dive. Nope, just a Psych Out.
More gear Tarnin needs.
Falconic continuing his waterfall dive. Almost made it through. Just getting stuck up on some of these unrunnable perilous in his way. Tarnin decides Volcano is his next play. Nope, changing his mind again. Not settled in on where he wants to go just yet. Okay, he did finally decide on Ice Cave, so we're going to try and make that incentive play. I think this makes a lot of sense. It's definitely a very dangerous area, but if this has that tail, Tarnin will be able to get his promotion and get some spells under his belt. And we know that Warp is available as soon as we can get that promotion.
And whoever gets the class chains and gets the spells first is going to have a big advantage in this game, because we saw the useful spells that are available to our fighter and thief once they become a knight ninja.
That's right. We saw Fire 3 and Warp at level 1 for Black Magic, Ice 3 at level 2 for Black Magic, as well as Invis 2 for White. And then at level 3, we saw Temper and Life 2. So very big spells available once we can get that tail. Alright, so Tarnin makes his dive down into the hole. Gonna have to fight this undead pack. Fortunately has that light axe and that mage staff to be able to take out these big packs, so that's very good for him. That's right, Lyra is pointing out that this is the last FFR race for today. Tomorrow we do have a couple more races for you guys. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. we have the Dragon Slayer Wilkliosis versus the Lone Wolf One Fine Day for the last of the undefeateds. One of them will advance to 4-0, and one of them will be moved to the 3-1 pod. That's at 3 p.m. tomorrow. And then again tomorrow at 9 p.m. we have Solaris Strix versus Sho Fukamachi on the SG channel of networks. And that will be the last of our Week 4 races. And after that, we will have the pairing reveal to see who's paired up for next week.
Falconic is joining Tarnin in the ice dive. You can see that light axe and that mage staff are really paying off here. Ooh, red bones have cremates. That's painful.
Yep, they're getting some good experience points. I'll try to catch Tarnin's levels here. I couldn't quite catch them.
So, do you think an eye grind is going to be in play here once they find what the incentivized item is?
I think if we see the tail, I would not expect an eye grind. However, if we don't see the tail, I think an eye grind is a very sensible play here. Problem is, if we do find that tail, we're going to want to get promoted before we start really going past level 15 too far. Tarnin's levels are level 17, so he definitely has class change on the mind. The sooner he can get class change, the sooner he gets those charges of those valuable spells for him. So I think that we won't see an eye grind from Tarnin either way. I would see an eye grind to maybe 15 to 20, given that we're doing this two-man party. But I don't think we're going to want to level up too high because we do want to get that class change before we get too many levels. Ooh, and the Sun Sword is a very nice pickup for Tarnin. Going to give him a great weapon for that fighter to be able to use. Anyone know what Falconic's sprites are modeled after? I don't know the exact reasons for his sprites. I just know that he wanted a bit of a custom feel for his own ROM. So that is a question you might have to ask him. But definitely, if you like Final Fantasy Randomizer, if you enjoy what you see in these races, do stop by the Discord. Check out FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. The randomizer is there for anybody to be able to play, and it has links to the Discord for the Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer racing community that is hosting this race, as well as the Final Fantasy Community Center Discord, where they do a couple of different kinds of races. Both communities have a lot to offer, great groups of people. Definitely stop by the Discords, check them out, say hi, and we get the Mystic Key for our troubles here in Ice Cave. So not the tail we're looking for.
So we know tail is out there, but since we have the key, it can be in virtually any treasure chest in the game. And that's a lot of chests.
Yep, that Mystic Key is going to be very nice. Tarnin is probably going to be more likely to check a lot of these Mystic Key chests than Falconic, given that he does not yet have the Mazmune. I'd be curious to see if Falconic spends a bunch of time digging them. He probably still will. They're free chests, and they're quicker to check than diving a lot of dungeons, so... Fizzlebeef, our loose items are the tail and the Oxyel. We still need a way into the Sea Shrine. We saw our ribbon at the bottle turn in, and our rod was the vendor item in on-ramp.
So Shadow Walker, do you see any possible way for these runners to finish the game without doing a class change? Let's say they find the app and they say, all right, I'm in go mode.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Defense sword, power bonk, Mazmune, or, well, defense sword, bonk, and Mazmune, and that's enough. You could solo it with just a high-level fighter swinging a Mazmune at level 35 plus. Are our runners going to want that class change? Absolutely. They're definitely not going to be skipping the class change if they don't have to. But if we get into a situation where we're in go mode and we have not located the tail, there's a lot of chests that tail could be in. And Falconic has the gear, really, that I don't think he would really stop and do a full dive and really, really hunt that. So I think it's really going to depend on whether we find the tail before the Oxyel, whether our runner's class change or not.
And we just picked up a white shirt in Northwest Cave, fine by Falconic, and that casts Invis too, so if that tail remains hidden, that will definitely be an incentive for skipping it.
Wappy pointing out that a level 32 grind would probably be enough, but I think that level 35 for the breakpoint for the next Mazza hit would definitely be the way to go if you're not class changed. Alright, Tarnin is now going to fight Astos again to get that bottle and see what it turns into. We know it's going to give him a ribbon, which he'll be very happy with, but it's not his progression. So he will know then that he has to find that loose Oxyel. So the runner's doing those checks of those key lock chests. See if we can't find anything good. Nothing terribly exciting. Tarnin's going to go find Gaia and turn in that bottle now.
Falconic is now heading off to the both Fiend Lock and Key Lock chest. We'll see what happens there. First floor Temple of Fiends.
We have a lot of chests to check. We know we're going to have to find that Oxyel. And the question is going to be whether or not we can find that tail on our way to getting that Oxyel. And I'll be curious to see, our runners have done all the incentive checks. So now we have to start diving Fiend dungeons. I mean, there's a couple of Keylock chests still, like Keylock Marsh we haven't checked just yet, but I'm not sure our runners are going to want to go back to Marsh Cave just yet. So curious to see where they start looking.
Looks like both of our runners are stocking up on some essential heal potions before they head out for that destination.
We've got MG Weirdo in chat calling for a tail and mermaids. And I think if we see that, I think if that is the case, our runners probably won't see that. I suspect that they probably won't do a mermaid's dive looking for a tail if we find that Axial first. Falconic going to make the dive into Volcano. Sensible area to check. He has Mazmune. He has a good way to take out Carry. There's a good number of chests here on the 4th floor.
Good number of chests to check, and also you can get an orb lip. Could be our first orb lip of the match, so you can hit 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yes, Lyra. This is in fact a 2-in-1 match. Falconic and Tarnin are both 2-in-1. Falconic took down Spell Zap and Fizzlebeef and took a loss to Crab Cakes. And Tarnin has taken down Spell Zap and I can't remember the other person. Trenton. Spell Zap and Trenton were Tarnin's 2 wins, and he took a loss last week to Wilkliosis.
Nice Dragon Armor find by Falconic on the left there.
Yep, so Falconic not losing any sweat over the fact that he ditched that Opal Armor early, and finds the black shirt as well, so another castable item. It's time for Ice 2, so that's going to be a nice addition to our equipment. Tarnin also making the Volcano play. And yeah, Wilklios is pointing out in chat, this is a very tight race. Falconic has the Mazmune advantage, having dove the 1st floor of Mirage, but both of these runners are neck and neck. This is going to be a close race, and it's probably going to be a close race the whole way through. Tarnin picking up his black shirt. Falconic finds the news that Agmas are unrunnable, but they're very low on HP. Does not find his loose Oxy. Wappy, no, we have not found any katanas. We found Mazmune, we found X-Cow, we found Defense, but no katanas, and we did find a Vorpal as well. Alright, Tarnin level 19 now. Falconic just about to take out Carry. I suspect with his Mazmune and Defense Sword that he will not have an issue here.
Mm-hmm. Be able to hit hard and have good defense, as the name of the sword. Notes.
Alright, so there's our carry pull. We're going with white shirt and we're starting out swinging straight away. 4 hits for 316. Big critical hit coming through. Another white shirt, going to keep up that defense. 4 hits for another critical hit. 270 damage now. Carry almost through her vanilla HP. Another 430. Falconic takes down Carry like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm. Did not put up much of a fight against that Mazmune.
Tarnin, meanwhile, is going to take some of these Agamas. Not happy with his damage just yet, although 4 hits for 318. He's definitely got some damage packing that Sun Sword. Fizzlebeef. Already forgot what magic was available. It was Fire 3 and Warp at 1, Ice 3 at 2, Temper at 3. And then for white magic, we've got Invis 2 at 2 and Life 2 at 3. Falconic is back to the 2nd floor. We're going to full clear this while we're here. Tarnin finds the soft potion in the red D chest, so not very exciting. A couple more fires here. Just some chest, just some money. Falconic does not feel like fighting those much, just resets out of the fight. Gonna check that last chest up here on the top right. More money. Has 2 more chests in the top left. Tarnin with defense sword and wizard staff strats. Not able to land the confused just yet. We know this carry has up over 600 HP, so it's going to take him a little bit longer since he doesn't have the Masmian. Still not able to land that wizard staff, so he says nuts to it. Oh, there we go. Carry's confused. Starts whacking herself for small amounts of damage. Still not quite through. Carry has a lot of HP. 87 damage. Down she goes. Both of our runners now have their first sword by the 55-minute mark. Except Tarnin gets run in by these by this red giant. Just eating up a little bit of his time. But he does light his orb. He's out. Falconic making a play for the first floor of Earth. Has not found anything, but Tarnin is going into Mirage and potentially Sky afterwards. So he's going to pick up his Masmian. He's going to be very happy about that. Meanwhile, Falconic finds another loose ribbon. This one not being the one from the incentive pool, but does find a ribbon here in Earth 2.
The whole party has ribbons, and we only found 2 ribbons.
Yeah, that is one nice thing about the 2-man party, is you don't have to equip that many people, so it tends to go pretty fast. Tarnin now with that Masmian on his Thief has 2 good combat options in battle.
The Bane Sword has been found, the game clincher. That is my personal favorite sword in the game. It can take out Chaos in 1 hit. I mean, there's like the odds of that are very small, but it has been known to happen.
Yep, definitely. The Bane strats on Chaos have been pretty strong in this tournament already. We've seen Wilcliosis do it against Trystal. We saw Falconic get the first try Bane on Chaos against Spell Zap, so definitely been a spell to watch out for here in this tournament. Homercleese asking if Falconic bought the rod yet. I don't believe he did. I don't think I saw it. So this might just be a first 3-floor check.
The greater than less than chest, 2nd floor Mirage Tower, all cleared out. Still no sign of the Oxy Ale or the tail, so...
Yeah, 10 chests, but unfortunately they didn't pay out very well this time around.
Meanwhile, Falconic continues to go through the winding paths of Earth Cave.
Dragonfire asking about Falconic's party. It is a thief and a fighter. Both of these runners are running a thief and party fighter. A thief and fighter party. This was an agreed to gentleman's agreement. They agreed ahead of time to run this party, so both of them have 1 fighter, 1 thief. Falconic has just about cleared pre-Rod. Finds a Thor Hammer, but decides he doesn't want to take another fight for it after he stepped away, so that's going to be something that he's leaving behind.
They can show work of that vampire with Masmian.
Yeah, nothing good pre-Rod. So we'll quickly confirm whether or not Falconic has the rod to be able to go through the later floors of Earth. Rollac, there's not a sound issue. Both of our runners are using non-restreamable music, so we have some default tunes today. Okay, we are getting confirmation from our trackers that Falconic does have the rod. He did buy it. The tracker was just acting up. The tracker program, not the tracker themselves. Big thanks again to Dengwu and Danny3883 doing our tracking for us today. Both of them have been very helpful throughout this tournament. Dengwu doing a lot of tracking and commentary. Danny doing probably the most races out of anybody, has been just an absolute beast when it comes to helping out and volunteering. So big shout outs to our trackers.
Falconic just cleared the big chest room in the Earth Cave basement. Nothing of note yet. There's one more room in Earth Cave, and if it's not there, then there's nothing in Earth Cave.
So chances are looking good now that Oxiel is here in Sky. And I'll be very curious to see if Tarnin finds the Oxiel here, if he decides to straight go mode, or if he banks on that class change. Yes, Guelph35 in chat. Runners definitely did agree to these parties. It's Forced Fighter and Thief and 2 Nuns. So at this point, we are running out of chests to check. We've got Sky 2 and Sky 3. We've got 3 more chests here in Earth that Falconic is going to show us. And aside from that, I think it's just Keylocked Marsh and the Ruby Locked chests in Titans. So we are very quickly running out of opportunities to find this Oxiel.
I'm already going to call it for the Ruby Lock chest in Titan. I want it to be there. I want that Ruby that the robot gave in Waterfall to actually be worth something as opposed to a wasted trip.
Alright, so Falconic has opened every chest here in Earth Cave. He found a ribbon, but not really anything else that was too great. There was the Thor hammer that you passed up on, but Tarnin up over level 20 now, going through Sky. Falconic has pulled Lich. 3 hits, 188. 3 hits, 327. Lich still stands, so we rolled up on HP today. Another 176, and down Lich goes. That's 2 orbs now for Falconic. Jed Levi pointing out that Bane Sword was also found on Earth. That is true. Falconic gonna give us a look at that Titan keylock, or Titan's Ruby Lock chests. We'll see if there's anything here in these 4 chests.
Alright, I'm calling it now. We'll see if
There it is, the Oxiel in the Titan's Trove.
See, I should be, like, picking a lot of numbers for tonight for everyone.
And a flame armor and a flame shield and an ice armor, so some very nice pickups for that ninja's equipment. Although he does already have 2 ribbons, so it's not as big a deal. Oh, except he can't class change to actually equip those because we don't have a tail yet.
Alright, so now we are in a situation where the tail is the last remaining item. We haven't found it yet. It's in a loose chest somewhere in this world. So if you're Falconic, are you just going to go mode it, or are we still looking for that tail?
I think if I'm in Falconic's shoes, I have the defense, I have 2 ribbons, I have a Mazmune. I'm going to open the chest on the way to Kraken, and if I see tail, great. If I don't see tail, I'm not opening up any more chests. That's it. Kinun10 asks, can tail be in Topher? No. Key items cannot land in Topher. Falconic proved me wrong again, and is going to go dive the mermaids, because, that's what we do.
Falconic wants that tail. And if he has to make a detour to go see the mermaids, then that's the way it's going to be.
Alright, well, we'll see if we find it here. Tarnin's still digging out Sky 2. Luke cannot possibly be in validation chests. That is correct, Night Dew. There are no key items that will be past the black orb in Topher. We do see our first katana. So we might end up in a Mazmune katana situation here. If we can find that tail. Alright, so Tarnin has almost finished up Sky now. If Tarnin can find the tail here in Sky 3 and go and check the Titan's Trove first before doing Marsh. And it is! The tail is in Sky 3! If he can check that Titan's Trove before doing Earth Cave, that would be a big move for Tarnin. He'd be able to make up a lot of time that Falconic spent digging through Earth Cave. Pandasaurus, are these guys 2-1? Yes. Both of these guys have 2 wins and 1 loss. So one of them will move on to be 3-1 and be guaranteed a spot in the play-in race at least. And one of them will be left at 2-2. And they will have to continue fighting for their spot into the bracket stage. Yeah, Fizzlebeef pointing out that we've seen the Excal, we've seen Vorpal, we've seen Mazza. Katana is not really a very big pickup here, so we're definitely good to go on equipment now. Feed later asking, what if they tie? We haven't seen a tie in the tournament. I'm not exactly sure what the tournament protocol would be if that happens. But if somehow they tie on SRL, that would have to go to a tournament organizer level decision. I am not sure what the protocol would be if that happens.
Don't say it won't ever happen. We've had some very close races in the history of these tournaments. Some been as fewer than 15 seconds or 5 seconds apart. So maybe one day we will see a tie.
Troller asks, saying that a tie seems hugely unlikely. Very unlikely, but not impossible. There have definitely been races that have been extremely close in this tournament already.
And I have seen ties elsewhere playing Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy IV Randomizer. So they are highly unlikely, but they do happen.
Alright, Falconic now diving towards Kraken side. Tarnin trying to make his way across the Bridge of Destiny. Both of them on their way to their next orb. Tarnin lighting his second orb and Falconic lighting his third. Thunderclawed asking, wasn't there a tie in the past Chaos Rush tournament? Yes, there was. We had a tie for third place between Tarnin and Cheesenator HS in one of our runs. Alright, Tarnin fighting Tiamat, using the defense sword on his thief, trying to use the thief as an evasion tank, and leaving Tap at the bottom there to be targeted less frequently. Tiamat not playing ball, though, wants to just target that fighter. And down he goes.
Ooh, it's
Thief
not
now
good.
with 115 HP left.
This is not good. This is not good.
I'm surprised Tarnin's using the black shirt here. Doesn't he have the Mazamune equipped on his thief? Or maybe he moved it to Tap for this fight.
The Bane Sword, I think, would have been the way to go. I think when Falconic has it, not Tarnin, right? Or do they both have the Bane Sword?
Correct. Falconic has the Bane Sword. He's dove Marsh or Earth, and unfortunately, Tarnin takes a wipe here to Tiamat.
Yeah, that is a harsh wipe. A lot of levels that were built there. Got the tail. Tarnin has the knowledge, but that was a rough Tiamat fight for this, especially for this party.
Tarnin is now going to leave. He's going to walk away. So he now knows that the tail is in Sky 3, but he might think that he doesn't have time to go get that now. He is going to go over and go either to Marsh Cave or Earth Cave or Titan's Trove. Well, he hasn't checked all the Keylock chests, so he's going to check Temple of Fiends first.
Yeah, our trackers are. Demo was telling me that Tarn lost about 7 to 8 levels in that wipe, so that's just very unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tarnin only had one ribbon, so that thief was not immune to status spells, and took a nasty hold from Tiamat.
Meanwhile, Falconic now has a superfluous ribbon. He's got the third and final ribbon in the game, in the Sea Shrine.
Yeah, Wappy asking what happened. Tiamat landed a hold on Tarnin's thief that was stacking the defense. Tarnin's going to Titans first. He's going to find out that the Oxyel is here and not have to full clear Earth Cave.
So he'll have the Oxyale and the knowledge of where the tail is.
So Falconic is finishing up his checks of the Kraken side of Sea Shrine, and he has not found the Power Bonk. So we know that either the Power Gauntlet is in the Keylock Marsh chests, or it's in Temple of Fiends Revisited. Oh, Falconic did get Bonk. You sure? I don't recall seeing. Room south of Sharknado. Okay, my apologies. Falconic is probably going to do this without digging the tail. He's got the defense sword, the power bonk, Mazza. I think all of those are plenty strong enough for him to not go and get it. Tarnin's going to pick up his second ribbon here in this room. And that's huge for Tarnin. So at this point, he might stop digging. We'll see what Tarnin does here. Okay, he's not checking the bottom half of Earth 2, so this is good. If Tarnin stops digging chests, he's got a good chance here he can stay in this race.
Release the Kraken.
Tarnin's still taking a couple of chests just on the way. Falconic, meanwhile, is going to throw out the Bane Sword and Defense. Bane Strat's ineffective around 1. Axel takes a nasty hit down to 2 HP.
Down, but still alive.
Power Bonk's coming out from Hawk now. 4 hits for 413. This Kraken is not going to last long. 458 on a critical hit. Kraken rolled up on HP. Another 400, and down he goes. Falconic takes out Kraken and lights his third orb, but not before a Sea Troll gets in his way.
Yeah, I think Falconic has got a nice, comfortable lead right now. Even though he doesn't have the knowledge of Taoism like Tarnin, he's sitting pretty good right now in this race.
Yep, so Falconic just has Sky to go through. He has the Power Bonk advantage, and if he decides to, he can skip the tail. Given that there's a lot of chests that he doesn't know what they contain in Sky, I don't expect Falconic to take a whole bunch of time looking for that tail. Tarnin's going to find his Thor hammer here. Decides to go back for it. He steps away from the trap tile, so he has to fight the Earth again. Yes, Demon Fog, correct. This is the last race of the night. There are 2 more races coming up for Swiss Week 4. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, we have the Dragon Slayer Wilcleosis going up against the Lone Wolf, One Fine Day. The last battle of the undefeateds. One of them will advance to 4-0, one of them will be 3-1, and have to fight a very scary pod of 3-1 players. The other match that we have tomorrow is at 9 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. Eastern. It is Solaris Drix versus Sho Fukumachi. And that will be the last of the races for Week 4 on Swiss. Falconic, just bound and determined to make a liar out of me this seed, is still opening chests in Sky. Besides, there's 10 chests here. There's a good possibility that this could be tail. Unfortunately, we know that it's not here. Tarnin with a blistering fast pace through Earth Cave, able to go mode it. He is onto Lich's floor. He is about to light his second orb. Couple quick hits from Tarnin, and down Lich goes. He lights his Earth Orb to be 2 on the orb count now. So he's got to get through Sky and Sea now. So we'll see where he goes next. Now we know that he could find the Power Gauntlet on the Sharknado room. And that might be a chest that he checks. Falconic making his way through these nightmares. Tarnin stocking back up on some heal potions. Falconic is bound and determined to find that tail, and that might be Tarnin's chance to really catch back up. He knows where that tail is.
Now, one disadvantage that, once you get the tail when you're very late in levels, doesn't that preclude on getting a certain amount of spell charges?
It does. If they don't promote... See, Falconic's in a situation where he could promote and then maybe do a quick grind to try and get some extra levels, but Tarnin could go back to Sky, get his tail, fight Tiamat, and then take fights on the way through Kraken, and try and get those extra levels to be able to get his spell charges still. So it looks like that's what Tarnin's going to do. He's going to go back, he's going to get his tail. I don't expect him to open up any other boxes here in Sky. He just wants that tail, he just wants to light his orb and get out of here.
I'm just thinking that, given the process to get the charges, that the runners are Falconic, especially with his with all the gear he's got, is better off just making a beeline to Tiamat and then Chaos.
We had a question in chat from Guelph. What magics will they get after the tail? The only notable magics we saw were Fire 3, Ice 3, Warp, Temper, Life 2, and Invis 2. So those are definitely some very helpful spells. So that could make a big difference. It could not make quite so much of a difference. We will see. Tarnin now is passing Falconic in his progress in Sky, and may not be going after that tail. Tail was on the right side of Sky 3, and Tarnin's going left. Okay, he has remembered. Yeah, Life 2 and Temper are definitely some really big pickups. I definitely think our runners are going to want those. Okay, so Falconic is also going right first. He's going to pick up his tail here, as well as Tarnin. So Falconic is going to be able to just go fight Tiamat after this. Tarnin's still going to have to do Sea Shrine. Yeah, some of our chat pointing out that Falconic just blazed right through Sky 2 without checking the chest. That's what some of our runners like to do. They like to skip it and check the more chest-dense rooms in Sky 3 first. A lot of runners vary greatly on that. There's a good number of people in the community that will check Sky 2 first, and a good number of people that will go straight to Sky 3 and check the more chest-dense rooms first. Yeah, Crabcake's accurately pointing out, even with a tail, we're not going to have very many spell charges. And I think Fizzle Beef is right on the money, aiming for a charge of Life 2, just to make sure we can keep that thief alive. I think that's the smart play here. So Falconic sees the Aegis Shield, he stops and picks that up, and finds his tail. Tarnin, meanwhile, back in the room, he's going to get his tail.
High five there with the runners in Sky Castle.
Tarnin picks up his Aegis Shield, and he is back to the races. Back to go and try and kill Tiamat again. Alright, Tarnin blazing right through the Sky 4 floor. Back to the Bridge of Destiny. We still have not seen a War Mech. So if you want to see a War Mech, get your Bless RNGs out in chat. Maybe we'll get a robot sighting here. I'm sure if Tarnin saw it, he would very much like to take that robot down just to get his levels back. Tarnin changing a couple of his items around, trying to make sure that he is in a position where he can do as much damage as possible, switching the defense over to the fighter, swapping to Maz's Sunsword, trying to gear up as best as he can. What are the odds of seeing a War Mech and Rando when crossing once? So that's an interesting question, Rolak. In this particular format, we are shuffling the encounter rarity, which means that our runners don't know what exactly the odds are of encountering the War Mech in any of the encounter pools. So it's not a cut and dry 1 in 60 chance of a given encounter being War Mech like it is in the vanilla game. That War Mech could have been rolled to a much more common encounter, or it could still be a rare encounter. Crabcake's pointing out accurately in chat, wondering why we're seeing so many War Mechs but not many other encounter rates. That is definitely a very good question. For instance, the single Ghastly in Waterfall is as rare as War Mech is in the vanilla game. And with that encounter shuffle, it seems like we should have been seeing a lot more of those in Waterfall this tournament so far. But I think we still have not seen hardly any. Wilkliosis dropping the knowledge, pointing out that Bridge of Destiny has a more common encounter threshold, therefore making the odds of seeing those high rarity encounters in the encounter rarity shuffle more common. Tarnin made his way back to Tiamat. This time he's put the defense sword on the fighter and going to try and keep that fighter alive. Fighter has a ribbon, so this time we won't have to worry about the hold quite so much. 5 hits for 74 damage, 5 hits for 181 damage. Tiamat fasting again. Hold is next. He just needs to not get 3 into 56. Another 130 damage coming out. Another 130 damage on a critical hit. We have a crit loop. Boys and girls, this is what happens with a single character in slot 3 or 4. The RNG table is worked out such that as long as Tarnin just keeps holding A, this exact same encounter option is going to happen every time. Tiamat 2 is going to attack and then miss, and then Tap is going to swing and get 4 hits with a critical for 130 damage.
That's a nice little glitch if you can make it work.
Yes, and Thalfin pointing out in chat, he does actually have to hold A because the amount of frames that pass in combat determine the RNG. So if you don't get that initial hold A, then it means that your RNG can change and get out of that loop. Fizzlebeef pointing out that level 27 is pretty good, but we're potentially looking at needing some more levels. I know Tarnin's goal for his levels going into this was level 35. So according to his count, he would want to get 8 more levels. Alright, so Tarnin's got his class change, Falconic's got his class change. Tarnin still has to go do Sea Shrine. He's got to light his 4th orb. But we have a very close race on our hands. Tarnin doing a little bit of gear shuffling, making sure he has all of his options available to keep as defended as possible. He's going to switch over to using the X-Cowl on his Knight and the Mazmune on his Ninja to get as much damage as possible out of his 2-character party. Tarnin's going to head back to Onrak, which was at the Gaia entrance. Or not.
Oh, I'm totally digging the sprite selection of our runners here. I thought Tarnin was using the original theme. Looks like he's got some special Dragoon to replace with which to replace the Knight. Oh, wait, that's not a Dragoon. That's a just a Magic Knight, but still looks pretty good.
Tarnin is stopping by Elfland to pick up Life 2 and Temper. So definitely a very good pickup for him. Looks like he's going back to level 4, checking once again to see if there was anything that he wanted. And no, not today. So he's going to bring that ninja back. And then he's probably off to Sea Shrine. Alright, Tarnin gets in his airship. He is off to Gaia, which is the Onrak entrance. No, he's not. He's making a liar out of me. He's going to go get Warp. That's what he's after. I'm not sure I would be prioritizing Warp in this situation, but that is what he is after. Falconic is off to Volcano. He's going to go do an Agma grind. He saw that they were very low on HP. Falconic is making the play for a grind here. Looking at this, wondering why would anybody go Thief and a White Mage in a 2-team? This is a Knight and a Ninja. This is Fighter Thief as their 2-man team, not White Mage. White Mage was banned this week. Alright, so Tarnin taking the time to really prep up, make sure he has all the spells that he wants. Up in Viz 2, and it was Ruse available at level 2 for that night. He decides, thank you, I'll have another. We're trying to get a check of what exactly our levels are on our runners. I want to say Tarnin was level 27. Falconic, I think, is a little bit lower. Probably level 24, 25-ish. He definitely has 5 hits on that Mazmian, so he's at least level 24 on that night. Ninja's level 23. Alright, Tarnin into Sea Shrine. We know that he could get the Power Bonk here on his way to Kraken. We'll see if he picks that up or not. It's about the only piece of gear that Tarnin could possibly want left now. Falconic has initiated his grind. We'll see how far he takes this. Tarnin is going to check a couple of these greed chests on the way. And if I know Tarnin, he's going to hit that that room south of Sharknado. No, he's not. He's going to make a liar out of me again. It's a chest that Tarnin will typically check if he's in greed mode. Yeah, Demon Frog, I know. They're like making a liar out of me at every turn. I'm trying, man. Reverse Nostradamus. Yeah, exactly, Fizzlebeef. I know Tarnin's plays. He typically checks that room south of the entrance, but I guess not today. Bonk is in the room south of here. Dangwu Shadow's a good weatherman. Not today. I mean, well, I guess depending upon your definition of good weatherman, then yeah. But, So Tarnin is going to grind on the Sharknado tile, meanwhile Falconic grinding on the Agma tile. So both of these runners initiating their plan, carrying out their ideas. I know that Tarnin's projected level for this was level 35. That's the level that he wants to go to. I imagine Falconic probably being a very similar level, although he's stopping at level 27. So he's moving on now. We'll see if level 27 is enough to get Falconic through Topher. Danny pointing out today, they both said, "You know nothing, Shadow." Yep. Today they just set out to prove me all sorts of wrong. So this is the difference between Tarnin and Falconic's play. Tarnin is one that really likes to be over-prepared. He wants to be absolutely sure when he dives Topher that he's going to clear this in one go. Versus Falconic is a bit more of a risk taker. He's a little bit more of a gambler. He will go at level 27 and see if that's enough. And we will see. If this is a rough Topher, Falconic could be in for a bad time. If this is a easy Topher, Falconic might just blaze through this. And we'll see which of these strategies pays off. Cleos is pointing out that Falconic has a plan B. He has the Bane Sword. That Bane spell has been a very formidable one, taking out Chaos a couple of times in this tournament already. So definitely a good backup plan. Tarnin now is done with his grind, it looks like. Decides this is enough, he's going to move on. Mage Staff and Thor Hammer coming out for Tarnin. And Mage Staff not doing a whole lot of damage, so Hags resist fire. Falconic taking the Chimeras and Chimeras on the way down. Unfortunately getting held up just a little bit. Falconic gets away. Tarnin checks another chest, did not find the power bonk. He's checking the wrong room to get that power bonk. It's an ambush on these ghosts, gets away. Falconic takes down the worm, gets some nice EXP, level 26 now on Axel. Falconic's Knight is level 27, his Ninja is level 26 now. Yeah, Falconic, I definitely agree. 27-26 seems just a little bit too ambitious for me. Tarnin has just a couple more levels, not a whole lot more though. So I'm curious if Tarnin's going to try and check something else or not. Alright, joining me in the booth now, Dengwu, taking over for Rumblefish. Rumblefish had to go at the last second, so thank you, Dengwu, for stepping up and joining me at the end of this race. It's a nail-biter. We've got a close race here.
It really is, and I had the benefit of being able to watch both of them. The 2 extra levels Tarnin grinded up, a little HP advantage if a nuke rolls high or something like that, but I don't really see much of an advantage. He doesn't have the white shirt or the power bonk.
Alright, Falconic pulls Lich, and just as soon as he does, gets a big hit. 677. Down goes Lich too. Alright, Tarnin doing a little bit of shopping, stocking back up. Prepping for that Temple of Fiends dive. Falconic finds some unrunnable Agmas. Gonna have to take this fight. They're low on HP, so he's probably not bothered by taking it. So Tarnin coming into Temple of Fiends just a little bit behind. Call it the 137 mark. Falconic was in here about 135.30. So he's just a little bit ahead going into Topher. This is the first real test. He's come up on Carry 2 now. Carry, 2 hits, 50 damage, not too big a deal. White shirt, power bonk, swinging out, 4 hits, 292. Carry not doing a whole lot of damage, just 3 hits for 63. He's got a lot of armor, a lot of absorb, protecting himself very well. Nuclear though, Nuclear comes out in big damage on Axel. 4 hits, 256 from the Mazmute. Hawk gets the job done. 5 hits, 583 damage, down goes Carry 2.
If you look to your right, Tarnin is now in, making that charge. 2nd floor of Temple of Fiends Revisited, about to take that portal back 2,000 years and try and catch up to Falconic.
Yeah, I strongly expect that Tarnin's going to take some extra fights along the way, getting those extra levels. Falconic's trying to blaze his way through, gets a huge run on this water floor. Waters are runnable, he gets a... Tarnin's past the loot, he's on... almost to the earth floor. He's about 2 floors away from the earth floor now. Falconic pulls Kraken. He's using the white shirt. He's using the defense. Going to stack that evade. Wants to make sure that he does not lose his Knight with those Life 2 charges. Tarnin getting held up by the stun touch Chimera fight. White shirt's coming out, keeping that evade up. We're starting to swing now. Nuke from Kraken! Only one hit for 58 damage. That's not a lot of damage. He's going to throw out a temper now. Going to throw out a power bonk. Going to charge up that laser. Slow 2 coming out from Kraken 2. I didn't catch if that hit or not. I think it was ineffective.
Yeah, it
Okay,
missed.
4 hits, 792. Good damage. Fire 3 coming out. Axel still alive, still stacking that defense. Axel swings now. 2 hits, 64 damage on a critical. Goes down. A life 2 is going to be able to bring that right back up. 3 hits, 339 damage. 3 hits, 405. Terminated. Falconic is through Kraken 2.
Kraken was generous enough to wait until Falconic had enough defense up and then just broke that poor thief in half.
Yeah, that's 1 nuclear out of the pool. That's 1 nuke out of the pool. That's also the slow 2 out of the pool. There's only 1 slow 2 among all the Topher bosses. So that is something that Chaos will not have against our parties. Tarnin is on the Earth floor now, taking these Gurmedusas, getting a lot of EXP here. Falconic is slicing his way through this unrunnable Nightmare Emo Man pack. Tarnin has a little bit of a level advantage. Falconic has that power bonk advantage. Falconic is dipping real low on heal potions now. He's down to about 40. Falconic pulls Tiamat 2. He's stacking up the defense, stacking up the white shirt. It's going to be a very common strategy for this whole dive. He needs to get that evasion up as fast as possible. Does not want to be taking big hits from Tiamat 2 here. That's 6 evade stacks now for the Knight and 2 for the Ninja. See if he throws out a temper. Nope, he's going to keep going with the white shirt stacks. Swirl comes out, another non-elemental damage spell. Down goes Axel. Another nuclear comes out from Tiamat. Hawk is down to 220 HP. Quad X comes out. Death Resist prevents that. Falconic's Knight is still alive. Zap comes out, it misses. Power Bonk, more attack. Swing now, 3 hits for 312. Nuke! Nuke comes out, he's down to 14 HP. 1 more AoE and this could turn. But 2 hits, 464 damage. Falconic gets through Tiamat 2. Very, very close.
Count your blessings, Falconic. That 204 roll on Nuke kept the run alive and kept Tarnin out of this race, at least for now.
So that's 2 nukes out of the pool. That's 2 nuclears out of the pool. Slow 2 out of the pool. Chaos cannot have a whole lot when it comes to this. Now, the one thing that we haven't seen is that dreaded Cure 4. If Chaos has high HP, high absorb Cure 4, this could put a stopper in his plan. He's down to 16 heal potions. Falconic does not have a high means of bringing his HP back during this fight. He pulls Chaos. Defense, white shirt, stack the evasion as high as it goes. Falconic did not move the Knight down to slot 3 or slot 4. He could not get the RNG loop. Tarnin, meanwhile, pulling carry 2. Ink comes out, that's free turn. Tap, swinging in, 5 hits, 285. Still stacking that defense. Ink comes out, another free turn. That power bonk is going to charge that Knight's attack. Temper coming out. He's going to swing now with Hawk. Chaos missing. 5 hits, 292 on a critical. Tarnin gets through carry 2. Power bonk, still charging up that power. Tornado comes through, more high damage. Bane comes out, but it's ineffective. Blizzard now, more AoE damage. This is a lot of AoEs from Chaos now. Asmia comes out, 5 hits, 341, more damage. Another Ink. This is so many free turns for Falconic. 5 hits for 922, huge damage coming through for the Knight. Gonna use some heal potions, keep alive. 5 hits, 443 damage. Falconic, duns. 1 hour, 42 minutes, 42 seconds. GG, Falconic, you are our winner for this race.
GG from Falconic. He was 1 tornado away. The good news, the swirl was already used by Tia 2.
Speaking of, we are joined by Falconic, the man himself, the enforcer of Team Vorpal. GG's, congratulations.
Thanks, Adam.
So Falconic, this was quite the party that you guys cooked up for us. This was a solo fighter, solo thief. And a lot of people probably were looking at this party and saying, oh man, we're going to be here for 3 hours. How do you feel about that run? You guys went through very fast.
I mean, hopefully what I've shown and the people that I've played that have agreed to do these strange parties is that there's more to this game than just your standard fighter, red mage, black mage. You can beat this game a number of ways, and it's just all about learning to adapt to it, which is, sorry to put the plug in here so early, which is why we're doing the co-op tournament coming up, and we're going to have a little bit harder flags. I want people to realize, don't be scared of doing kind of weird, strange, funky things. Tarnin, of course, I mean, I've done, all mage parties and such in week 1 through 3, but Tarnin, he's weird. He's weirder than all of us. We kind of went through a couple back and forths on if we were going to do, all thieves or thieves and black mages, just weird stuff. And then it just kind of hit us like, what if we just do a 2-man? And then it was like, okay, thief and who? Thought about thief and red mage, figured that'd be too easy. Thief and black mage, he shot down because he hates black mages. I don't know why, it's the best mage in the game. But then thief and fighter. And during the week we kind of talked like, hey, have you been practicing? Yeah, I've been practicing. Have you been finding it's a lot easier than you thought? Like, yeah, actually, thief and fighter on paper makes no sense, but it's really good.
Absolutely. You see a lot of these 2-man parties you'll see from people like Artea or other people, and a lot of the times you'll see like a fighter and a black mage, and it's kind of crazy, but yeah, you guys definitely showed that fighter thief is very viable. Obviously, you guys had a lot of things I think that helped a lot with that. In this particular seed, you found an early Mazmoon, an early Ribbon. Those make a huge difference, I'm sure, but you could tell that both of you had amazing plans going in there, and you did a great job with it. We got Tarnin now on Tiamat 2. We just saw the nuclear. Swinging out, 3 hits, 206. Didn't catch the damage from his Thief. Zap comes out, it misses. Thief coming back. Got a little bit of a slideshow. Tarnin's internet, unfortunately, not the most cooperative for these races. Nuke comes out, taps down to 46 HP, 4 hits, 400 damage, and Tiamat 2 goes down. Tarnin is back through. He's taken down Tiamat 2. And this has been a close race the whole way through. You guys were, I think, within 90 seconds of each other going into Topher. You had just a little bit of a lead going in. Tarnin, unfortunately, took a nasty wipe on his first dive through Mirage Sky. Took a wipe to Tiamat.
Oh.
And cost him a good bit of time. But it's been a close race the whole way through.
That sucks to hear. Tarnin's really good. On his best day, he'll put up times that I can't even imagine touching, so.
It's funny, I talk to Tarnin all the time, and he always insists, I'm not the fastest runner, I'm not the best runner. I don't care what he says. He plays this game extremely well. His knowledge of this game is like no other.
He's being modest. He taught Fizzle a lot of stuff, and I mean, Fizzle's a font of knowledge as well, so looks like he's on Chaos. Go ahead and take it.
Yeah. Right now we got a black screen. We're trying.
He's already killed Cass.
Did Chaos cast ink successfully? Is that what's going on?
I think Chaos cast those 8 inks in one round, and now all we've got is a black screen.
They're super effective against the casters and the spectators. Hey,
There
Will,
we go. Now I see him.
Can you cast some lamp for us? There we go.
Speaking of ink, there it is. Thief's casting Saber. I didn't catch that Saber was learnable. I saw the Temper, I didn't see the Saber.
Saber was 2, I think, and I forgot to go get it.
Yeah, we kept talking about the spells that were available and whether or not you guys would class change. And I really thought that maybe once you saw the Oxiel and not the Tail, I thought maybe you would skip it.
Not with Life 2 on the table. As soon as I saw Life 2, I made the decision that if I find the Tail, class change is going to happen, and we're going to get levels to have it.
Alright, so we have 5 hits coming through for 308 damage from Tap. No idea exactly how much damage Tarnin's done. He's thrown out some heal potions. being very preemptive with his HP. Wants to make sure that that fighter, that knight, is kept very high on HP.
It's like watching somebody with a negative response rate.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tarnin's a great runner. He just has such a terrible internet connection, and you really don't get to see everything. Was that Rub?
That's
Did he just kill Chaos with Rub?
What?
We're gonna go with yes because Chaos is dead.
I'm gonna have to ask him about that. I saw Rub come out, and all of a sudden, Chaos was terminated. I think he might have just killed Chaos with Rub. Tarnin takes second place, 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 39 seconds. GG's to Tarnin. We're going to see if we can get him here for an interview.
See, he just wanted to one-up Falconic and Will. So he used the rub spell instead of, the Bane. I mean, the Bane is so old school now.
So, Falconic,
Mm-hmm.
you've been doing these spicy meatball parties, as you've called them.
Yep.
All mages, 3 thieves, all sorts of craziness. What's coming next week? You got a taste for us?
It all depends on who the force character is, who's banned, and who my opponent is. I've already got a couple people now that I think have caught on to the fact that I don't do as well with standard parties as I do with weird ones. So a couple of people have already told me directly, if I face you week 5, I'm not giving you what you want. It's like, oh, come on. But we'll see. Hopefully someone has fun with it. That's the spring tournament's all about having fun. I really don't care about making brackets. If I go 3-2 and lose in the play-in race, so be it. I had fun, and hopefully, from what I hear, most of my races this year have been pretty entertaining, and that's all I'm going for.
All right, we are trying to see if we can get Tarnin in here.
Dingwoo here, Falconic. I'll just let you know next week. I'll take you on with it. I'm already agreeing to.
Nice.
And we are joined now by Tarnin. Tarnin, GG.
Hey, thanks. I know customarily y'all ask the question, but I really want to know like 3 things. So can I ask 3 questions?
Sure, go for it.
Did Falconic wipe to Tier 1?
No, he did not.
Yeah, I figured. Question 2. Did y'all see my RNG loop on Tier 1 the second time?
You guys both had the RNG loop on Tiamat at the same time.
That's amazing. Like, that happens in so friggin' few races. Like, it never happens. And, like, that it happened, I really was hoping y'all noticed. That it happened with both of us, that's just amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I saw it and noticed it on yours, because I saw Tiamat misses 130 damage. Tiamat misses 130 damage. And I, like, the second or third time I said it, I was like, it's the RNG loop! Oh my goodness!
The fun thing is that Tiamat had to fast in order to set up that loop. Or at least for my loop, she had to fast to set that one up.
Yes.
And, like, just wonderful.
It was beautiful. What was your third question?
My third question was it a good race to watch?
Oh, it was absolutely a good race to watch. It was very close. I think you guys were about 90 seconds apart going into the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Oh, wow, nice.
And I have a question for you, sir.
Yeah, hey.
Your internet was a little bit choppy at the end. Did I just see you rub Chaos to death?
No, I held A.
Okay.
I don't know where
because I saw Rub come out,
yeah,
and then Chaos was dead.
You should have said yes.
Chaos. Yes, I
You couldn't
cast
tell
Rub
me.
because I hacked it into my game. It's a special on-hit effect from my Mass Immune. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit sad that we got like the jettiest seed of all time.
Yeah.
Like, we started with boat and canal, or boat and ship, or boat and floater, and I was in the air at like 6 minutes or something, and that's because my
5:30.
fingers were being slow. Yeah. And then like everything fell into our lap except tail, the one thing that I like wanted to find.
Yeah. I think I full cleared just about the entire game.
Yeah, me too.
The
I didn't
only
full
thing
clear
is
Earth.
The only things we didn't see were the key lock chests in Marsh and the Topher chests. Those are the only chests we didn't.
So Falconic went mermaids?
Yep, went mermaids. I went all of Earth before checking Titans, which was a big mistake because, of course, Titans had Oxio.
Because of course, Titans had Oxio. Yeah, I checked Titan I checked Titan after my. Okay, Falconic. Unless they filled you in, I spent like 15 minutes leveling in Sky and then wiped to TO1.
Oh, you took levels before class changing?
I did because
he was full clearing and taking fights along the way, and he'd gained like 7 or 8 levels.
Oh, I was avoiding fights like the plague.
I was for a minute, and then I had Mazza. I had perfect armor for not having been class changed, and I'm like, and I hadn't found either loose at this point, and I'm like, if I find Oxy first, I'm just going to do it on class change. And so I just started taking all the fights. I got up to, I don't know, 32, 33. I don't know. I don't actually remember the level, but pretty high, and then wiped and got reset down to 24.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you had that wipe. That's how it went with Fizzle and I as well. He played the better game and took a wipe late in Sky, and that's what let me pass him. So it's unfortunate. I don't like winning that way.
Well, I'm not saying that. I mean,
yeah,
100 other things could have happened, right? It just, man, I lost a ton of levels and that hurt. And then I knew that tail was there, and like, I am sure anyone watching saw like my tilt coming through the screen. I just paused and sat and thanked, and then I don't know, probably 30 seconds of dirtling around trying to figure out what to do next. And I'm like, okay, I'll go full clear Earth, look for Oxy there. And I'm like, wait a minute, since I'm going to Earth anyway, I guess I'll turn in this Ruby.
Yeah, it's a smart play.
And what do you know? It was that Oxy.
I have another question for you, and I wanted to ask this one in particular.
Ask away.
When you're in Go mode in C, do you not normally still grade check the chests south of Sharknado?
How go am I? Is the answer to that question, right? Like, literally the only thing that I was looking for was, like, I wouldn't have turned down a katana, don't get me wrong, but the only thing I was looking for was bonk. Because if I had bonk, then not class changing would have been great, but I'd already class changed by that point, and like, I figured I could make it through Topher without bonk, so I didn't greed those two, but yes, those two is in my normal route.
I thought so, because you were coming through C, and I was like, alright, Tarnin's going to check this room south of Sharknado. He's going to get his power bonk, and then he's going to go kill Kraken.
Oh my gosh, was
and then
bonk
you didn't
in that
check.
room?
Bonk was in that room.
Seriously. Oh my gosh.
Not even joking.
Dude, the ghosts scared me off from checking it because I thought if I got 2 more ghost encounters, that would have taken a ton more heal pop menuing time, and I was still kind of tilty from the TO wipe, so I thought I had to make up time, but I also knew I needed the levels because I wanted to get 1 charge of life 2 and 2 charges of temper, so I knew I needed to grind, so I was grinding Sharknado, and I didn't want to risk the ghosts, and I missed bonk on the way. That's amazing.
I think there were at least about 5 times each of you I said, Tarnin's going to do this, Falconic's going to do this, and then you guys are like, lol, nope, Shadow, you know nothing. Get out of here with your logic and your planning and knowing us. You don't know anything.
Well, like, this class, you play it, or this party makeup, you play it differently, or at least I play it differently. Like, the fights I took and the fights I avoided were not the fights I normally take and avoid. Which makes me wonder about, like, taking the fights I took on this with a normal party and seeing how that goes, but that's a whole nother.
I was telling him when I first came in here that you and I kind of talked midweek, and we were trying to come up with what we thought was going to be one of the more difficult party comps we could possibly think of, and we went back and forth for a good while about, how about this? No, that'll be too easy because this and that and that. And then we were like, you know what, Fighter Thief, oh, that sounds gross. But then as we played it,
I loved it.
I think we found a new meta because it works really well.
Yeah, like, I think that it is probably about 10 minutes slower than 4-person or 3-person, but that might just be an experience. Like, I genuinely enjoyed this party and would play in a tournament of Force to this party.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not even joking. Genuinely, I would love to practice this party on a flag set, and I think it would be a really neat tourney.
it all but guarantees you got the levels that you need for Topher. So
Yeah. And like the leveling decision with this party was really interesting and different than the leveling decisions with other parties, because like I mean, yeah, like I got from 24 to low mid 30s on that one dungeon, and then like I reground to 31, like, or 29, not 31. Like, you can really quickly just choose the levels you want and spend 2 minutes on it, which isn't so much true in 4-person, you know? And like the level breakpoints and the questions that you get asked and like what's scary, like we didn't really see many big scary AoE things. I guess what, Tia 2 had nuke nuclear? Someone had nuke nuclear.
yeah,
That was
Tia
Tia.
2 was scary. I was down to like 17 health, I think, on my night.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was someone.
it was. You guys both got to double digits on Tiamat too.
Yeah. What level were you at, Falconic?
29, I think. 20, 27, 29. I did a Agma grind when I got all my orbs lit because I just picked up Life 2 and I wanted at least 2 casts of it, so I stopped at 27 and then picked up like 2 levels in Topher.
Yeah, I wanted 2 casts of it, but I was at 27 at the moment. When I class changed, I was at 27 on my knight, 26 on my thief, and I'm like, I don't want to go to 31 right now because I know Falconic is like coming up. You know, I can't wait to watch it. Like, I'm glad that we did this. It was really, really fun. I'm glad you didn't just like straight up trash me, you know?
No, I expected a close race. I told Cheddar before I thought you were going to pull the win off just because sooner or later my luck's going to run out. But it was fun. I'm glad you had a good time with it. The party comp was really fun, and hopefully, like I said at the start, more and more people start to realize play with other party comps. There's more than just the boring fighter red, white, black stuff.
Yeah, I hate Fighter Rainbow, but you all know that. You all have heard me. Even you watching in chat right now have probably heard me talk about how much I hate that party composition. I want to share another fun anecdote. I started the race late because when Shadow dropped and the race started, my internet dropped. And so I was sitting staring at the screen expecting the countdown to happen, and it never happened, and then it just popped up, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know if it was like 1 second late. I don't know if it was like 30 seconds late.
It seemed to be a couple seconds late. It didn't seem like it was a huge amount, but it was a little bit noticeable.
I've never seen that happen. All the numbers pop up at once, and it didn't matter, right? Falconic beat me by a good, 6 minutes? Yeah.
I want to give everybody watching another reminder. 3 p.m. tomorrow is the last battle of the undefeateds. Wilcleosis, the Dragon Slayer, taking on One Fine Day, the Lone Wolf. Definitely check that out on the Speed Gaming Family Network tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern, our last Swiss Week 4 is going to wrap up. It is Cho Fukamachi versus Solaris Drix. And then after that will be the pairing reveal. Big thank you for everybody that was watching. And gentlemen, you both played an amazing race. Final thoughts. Let's start with you, Falconic.
Yeah, thanks. Again, just thanks to Speed Gaming. They've done a tremendous job working with us this entire tournament. So definitely appreciate them for doing that. Looks like Canuck was on board, and then it was Rumble, and somehow we have Dangwoo in here. So I'll thank all of you guys. And Danny for tracking. Danny has been far and away the most valuable crew member of the 2019 spring tournament. So if you haven't followed her, if you haven't talked to her, one of the greatest people we have around, and we owe her a lot of thanks for stepping in and helping us, and Tarnin for the weird party. And that's it.
Yeah. Super thanks to Speed Gaming. Thanks Shadowwalker, Dengmu, Danny. Thanks everyone who came out and watched. Like, a lot of the reason why, at least for me, that I wanted to do something ridiculous with Falconic was I hoped that it would be fun to watch for the people at home. I hope it paid off. I hope it was fun to watch. Super thanks to Falconic, just like for, he has now resigned, but doing a year of challenge seeds. This was kind of a challenge seed in a tournament, and the challenge seeds have given so many of us like a real home and niche in FFR, and helped so many good players become good players. Me, Fizzle, Crabcakes. Not that I'm good, but the other 2 of them are. Man, just thanks, man. Like, seriously, it's been wonderful. So thanks for doing cool shit for the cool things for the community like that.
Yeah, no worries.
Tarnin always modest. You don't get to be 2-1 without being good. So
Yeah.
don't ever let this man tell you that he's not good, because he is.
Well, that's a matter of opinion.
Big thanks again to Dengwu to stepping in at the end to help the Topher dive calls, and thanks for Rumblefish for commentating the majority of this with me. Danny, always an absolute pleasure working with you. You and Dengwu on tracking. You guys did a great job. Thank you very much. I hope you all enjoyed this. Hope you had a great one. And Dengwu, take us home.
Shadow, take us home.
Or not. My name is ShadowWalker227, and I hope you all have a wonderful night. It's been a pleasure broadcasting this race, watching these gentlemen. You all have a great night.